To you, crabs. So you have, don't take it personal. I'm calling you crabs. I just can't say the C word. But anyway, so for you, crabs, you have the Three of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, and then you, crabs, also have the Nine of Wands. Interesting, right? So, all right. So let me see what's going on with you, crabs, right? Let me see. Okay. Okay. So what I'm seeing here for you, crabs, this is more so a sense of you essentially like hmm. Okay, so this is really like kind of like a check to see who's with you, crabs, and who is not. Because there's a sense of you wanting to actually, you thinking steps ahead, having some plans that you actually want to do, and you, crabs, just want to make sure that the plans that you have, people are not around you just there to soak up all the glory, making themselves as useless as possible while it is that you, crabs, go off and you do your thing, right? There's a sense of like reorganizing yourself and the people that you associate yourself with, making sure that everybody around you actually really does care about you and they're not just using you because you're a crab and they know that y'all have the manifestation skills, so they're just hanging around you because they see you, crabs, as being able to like get money, get big money, right? And really do your thing. You don't want snakes in the grass, you know what I mean? Like Jake the Snakes, people who, just are not really trustworthy. And it's like you have to constantly be on the lookout or watch because at any moment in time they could essentially turn on you. And see, the thing is, the Eight of Wands, you want to make sure that you have a sound mind. But there's also a sense of you, crabs, being okay with who's around you and trusting that you've already done the hard work. You've already done the hard work and getting to know who's for you and who's not. And a lot of you, crabs, just want to make sure, like it is I said before, that that this person isn't a turncoat, right? Or some of the people that you, crabs, have around you aren't a turncoat. While at the same time, there's also a sense of you, crabs, learning how to surrender in certain areas. And I've talked about this a million times. Like, people's need for control is their undoing, right? Like, you have to give up control when it comes to certain areas. But when you hear these dim-witted adults that just want to run around on the internet and wherever else they run around, and they talk about what it is I'm saying being hogwash, it's like, but pay attention to how they moving though. You know, they're not trying to hear anything that I'm saying because, oh, don't surrender or whatnot. No, you, crabs, have surrendered to the idea that you've done what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So now it's a sense of you just being able to relax. And then now, and that, you have the King of Wands and then you have the Knight of Pentacles, which is, it makes it easy for you to relax whenever it is that you get to know somebody because, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like, a lot of the people don't really know their own history, and I was, ironically, right, on Martin Luther King Day, I'm making this, but this and the Virgo video. But the thing is, that's coming after this. But the thing is that, like, it's the truth though. Like, there's a lot of misguided anger. You know what I mean? When it comes to certain things, like there's some real misguided anger in the sense that, like, on both sides, in a sense that both sides are not really understanding each other's history. And what I mean by that is one side seems to think that they're not powerful. And it's like, that's completely untrue because they always were. It's just that you got to understand that BLK history is fake history. I could show and prove that. I'm like, unless you're talking about Moorish history, which is real BLK history, you're not talking about anything. Everything is nothing but uh, a fraud at the end of the day. It's fake at the end of the day. And what does this have to do with the reading? Well, what this has to do with the reading is the miseducation of, see, now I'm getting into another layer of it. It's the miseducation of both sides and the ignorance, the fact that there's a lot of people on both sides that are so caught into and locked into and likes the vitriol that both sides have with one another. There's not a lot of education going on, because if I tell a melanated sister that they were never in servitude and stuff like this, they think I'm insulting them. And if they can't understand that I just gave them some good news, that it's a good thing that they and their ancestors were never caught up in servitude, and that if I could show them, for instance, like, this is what it is that I'm talking about, right? Like, this is what it is that I'm talking about. This book is 100 years old. This is a first edition. This was out, printed at least, not conceived, right, where a person was actually writing it, but printed in 1924. You understand what I'm saying? First edition. So I'm saying all that to say that in this book, they basically talking about what's going on in the relationship between both sides. And the point that I'm trying to make here is the miseducation that a lot of people have is part of what creates the vitriol. So it's like, for instance, I'm using myself in the example of, if I'm interacting with a sister, and like I'm interacting with her and we hanging out, I'm going out on a date with her, and like, is she not trying to hear me when I say you were never caught up in servitude? That didn't happen. J.D. Rockefeller got his finances to be able to create the oil company and everything like that from Madam C.J. Walker, and there's proof to show it, prove, and I can prove that, as a matter of fact. Challenge me on it, and I'll go ahead and I'll show you the evidence, because they lived right next door to one another at a time where they were allegedly wasn't supposed to. It's like, why is it that there's so much vitriol still, even though there's so much knowledge and education out there? It's because people are not trying to educate. And why that's important in the first place is because this goes right back into what it is I was saying about the whole surrendering thing, right? Like, people want to be upset. They want to have this false education of themselves and other people, so that they can have this batalla, right? This squabble between one another, so that they can have so they can feel important. And when you surrender and you say, you're gonna date, you don't have this contrived issue per se with the whole thing in general, but you do with the specific people whom it is that you meet, right? Because of their character, and the history, and you ain't tripping on it. What happens is, now you open up, when you do that, right, when you can surrender and stuff like this, you open up the dating pool for yourself, because now you're not just limited. You understand what I'm saying? You can actually, you crabs are doing the right thing, because now you're able to interact with other people without this anger of, oh, I gotta run game on this person before this person runs game on me. And then you have the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and then you crabs also have the Knight of Cups. And these three cards, represent for you crabs about how so after that, the next thing is that now that you crabs are out here dating, and it's not this vitriol or you being upset, you're actually able to be transparent and sincere with yours. Now it's really, the ball is in the other person's court as to what it is that they're going to do. And this is what I'm saying on how a lot of people, ask me questions and stuff like this about how to know how, what are the signs that you can tell, like, when you don't show up with a chip on your shoulder, like a lot of people be showing up with a chip on their shoulder. You know what I mean? Like there was a point in time where I was trying to tell people some years ago that I don't have a chip on my shoulder when it comes to this. It's just that stop trying to run game and reverse the situation and show up with all your AI buddies or all the goofies that just want to pack up in the comment section, talk a while about things that you don't even really know about, right? And then, but it was like, oh, you got a chip on your shoulder. Nah, not at all. And it's the same thing for you crabs. You know when somebody has a real problem when they have a chip on their shoulder. Like if you approach them from that perspective, like I said before, with the going back to the example that I was talking about, you could show a person some good news, and if they don't really have a way to actually accept that good news, where they are like they need to like defend the position that they are like downtrodden, and then when you can show and prove that it's a matter of no they're not, it's like, and then they still trying to defend the downtroddenness, you know that they coming with an agenda. And at that point they won't, I want you crabs to really hear me when I say this, that at that point their life is going to become a lot more hard, regardless of if it's dating or whatever else, because that chip on their shoulder that they represented to you when you were trying to get to know them, they're not going to be able to communicate or be taken seriously in a room full of people who really know what the deal is, who really know knowledge like that. They're going to be seen as people who are caught up in like the programming. And see, the thing is that the moon and then the Two of Cups right here represents how. And so once it is that you start dating other people like that, the ball is in their court. Like, what are they going to do exactly? How are they going to maneuver this? And then the truth is that after that, the next thing is the moon and the Two of Cups, which is they're either going to accept it, right, and be willing to date you, or they're not. Because, and this is what I mean when I say don't sweat it, because people who are fake, who are coming with the agenda, they're going to fabricate something. Like, you know how many times people try to fabricate something on me that just isn't true? It's just not. It's like, oh, I know you're going to cheat. And it's like, but I've never cheated though. It's like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? Oh, I know you're going to cheat. It's like, no, I'm not. But they have this, they're like, you could, like, I could tell, like, they're trying to keep this, well, it's almost like they want me to do it. Like, you got to do it in order for the programming to continue so I can be right. And it's like, but when I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Now it's like, well, you have to. Like, I got to find something to have a problem with. A person who has that kind of mind, especially when you crabs are trying to date, this goes right back into what it is I was saying to you crabs, and this proves my point that you have people who are in the game who are trying to be as dysfunctional as possible, run around, be on some BS, jerk your chain, if you know what I mean, which means, and what I mean by that is just a New York City term. It's a New York term, meaning like play mind games and just waste time. That's what they're on. So and you'll see it no matter what it is that they say, because sometimes what people say versus what people do can get people really caught up, because now it's, this person is really getting me with the genjutsu, like what is going on, the illusion, like what's going on. So you really see people's intentions, stuff like this, past that, because I've seen the programming a lot. Like you can't tell somebody that you like them. You can't tell somebody that they look good. Like, they get mad. And it's like, so you getting mad at me saying that you look good? You too caught up in the programming. You too far gone. You too much. Too much. Too much? Why? Because you advocating for terrible things. You advocating for that, because if I called you stupid, you would laugh and giggle, hey. But if I say, hey, you know, you look amazing. I love your hair today. Oh, what you mean? So you get mad that I said that your hair looks amazing? So now I got to look at you like you a goofball, because that's what you are. Because what are you getting so bent out of shape about me saying that I love your hair? That's not bad. So what are you getting so upset about? I gotta give you the tilt. So let's clarify the Two of Cups. So I think, well, not think, I know you crabs are on the right track. You're doing what you need to do, and you crabs are evolving. You're becoming better people, and you understand that there's no point in really having the chip on your shoulder, in even trying to like see if a person likes you or not. There's a sense of surrendering to it, you know, doing the best that you possibly can, and that is your work. But at the same time, not trying to kind of, you need to see if the person likes you. You're basically doing your part, and then you're allowing their part to be seen, regardless of whether it is a part where you want to see or a part where you don't like it. So let's clarify the Two of Cups, like I was talking about before. The Moon, which you already got, Star card, the Justice, yeah, the Devil, the Page of Cups, yeah, because at the end, okay, the Moon, the Page of Cups, and the Justice, self-explanatory for me anyway. Because people who want to be, people who are honest with themselves and honest in relationships, it's not going to be a difficult thing, my dear crabs. It's not going to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta, like, I don't know, like you gotta, like, when you open a door, you got the ring going off, and, like, you know, the alarm going off, and then you have to close the door and put in the code and stuff like this to the security system. It's not like that. It's like, if they want to hang out with you, they're transparent. It's over the table. They're transparent, and you'll know, because they're not really doing anything that is like nefarious, hidden. They don't hide their hand. They don't, it's transparent, right? Like, now obviously they may not tell you every single last thing in the world, right? Not even I do that. But it's transparent. And what I mean when I say transparent, I mean like it's see-through, like it's honest. It's not something where it's like it's hard to kind of look at and be like, yo, this person's up to something, because the person texts you and tells you, I'm gonna be at the supermarket. You text them back 15 minutes later, they're asking you, you ask them, where are you? You say, hey, it's supermarket, and then they take a picture of themselves, they take a picture of themselves, they take a picture of the aisle, right? Or they take a picture of some of the items and like the shelves. Like, you can kind of hit, you know what I'm saying? You may even call them, and it's like you hear things being checked out at the checkout counter. There's not somebody really around them or whatever, or they don't sound like they have anybody around them talking to them in particular, to where it will give you any kind of idea that they're going out on a date with anybody else, or like you know, sneaking somebody else on the low. But a person who wants to be with you, it's not going to be as difficult as how people like to play it today. And this is what the cards are saying. It's not this frustrating thing where it's like, oh my gosh, like me not, or like me, which one is it? And see, the Devil and the Page of Cups represents that clarity is where people who like to use disruption and tactics and stuff like this is where they're not going to like it. They're going to want you crabs to not do that while they try to do that to you. It's their loss if they try it, though. And they're going to find out the hard way that not everybody going. But that's pretty much it for now. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Peace.